Although far inferior to Ching Ching, she was much better than other females. The little leopard, puffing up angrily, wanted to drive the green feathered one out, but Vincent told him to stay to deal with the crab legs. The little green feathered one was fantasizing about having little peacocks with Bai Ching Ching. Vincent scolded him to get down from the tree. The narcissistic peacock beast leapt down, not forgetting to show off. He asked the Tiger King if he could live in the tree hole next to Ching Ching's. Vincent's face darkened. He turned and left, telling the green feathered one not to daydream and to choose a tree to build a nest. The little peacock looked pitiful and somewhat disappointed. On the other side, the infatuated little female fox drooled at the thought of the green-feathered one. Ching Ching was speechless. She advised her not to be too lustful, saying the little green-feathered one was a player. He flirts around and then leaves without a care. The little female tiger was shocked. However, being love-brained, she declared that she was so beautiful and charming. She would have that peacock beast wrapped around her finger. In her excitement, she hurt her little hand. At this moment, the little green-feathered one suddenly appeared. Seeing two beautiful females, his heart blossomed with joy. He pounced like a hungry wolf, almost unable to stop, ignoring Jasmine's attentiveness to Bai Jingjing on the side. The little female tiger shyly greeted him, however she was met with a cold response. The green-feathered one eagerly approached his moon goddess. Seeing this, Ching Ching instinctively stepped back several paces, afraid that Jasmine might misunderstand her relationship with a little green-feathered one. She decisively turned and left, giving them space to be alone. A few days later, the tribe held a bonfire gathering. Bai Jingjing changed into new clothes, looking dazzling. The little leopard cub stared at his mother, his eyes almost popping out. The male swallowed hard, exclaiming how beautiful she was. The tiger and leopard, two wife-protecting maniacs, glared fiercely at these beasts. The beast people were scared into a cold sweat, forcing smiles. They ran away faster than rabbits. The leopard cubs joyfully howled. They rushed towards their mother's soft face, nuzzling and cuddling. At this moment, a female called out to Bai Jingjing. She turned her head to look. It was an old acquaintance. A beast person who had fled from Wancho City. Ching Ching asked why she didn't bring her wolf cubs. These words tore open the woman's badly scarred wounds. She felt dizzy and her body trembled involuntarily. Even her speech was choked up. They all died. Ching Ching covered her mouth in disbelief. It turned out the earthquake in Wancho City had crushed all her cubs to death. Ching Ching felt extremely ashamed and deeply apologetic. She then invited the two to eat barbecue. The heavy atmosphere dissipated. They happily waited to eat meat. The mischievous leopard cub came to his mother's bottom and sniffed. Looking at her new clothes, he felt they were familiar. It turned out Mom was wearing the skin he had shed. He was overjoyed and started spinning in circles. The leopard mom couldn't help but burst out laughing. However, what happened next made him want to cry. Parker only fed him one bite of meat. The next second, he started vomiting uncontrollably. The tiger and leopard asked him certainly if he was all right. They suspected someone had poisoned the food. Ching Ching said there was nothing wrong with the food. It was just that she felt nauseous and couldn't swallow. Then the female next to her also started vomiting. Her mate looked at everyone's puzzled gazes. He explained that his wife was just pregnant. Could it be that Bai Jingjing was also pregnant? The two silly husbands were so happy they could hardly speak coherently. Only Ching Ching looked worried. It had been 3 months since weaning and she still hadn't had her period. It seems she was really pregnant. Bai Jingjing had been eating insects as food. As a result, she got pregnant and couldn't stop vomiting. The tiger and leopard were overjoyed. Only Ching Ching was deeply worried. Moreover, she had been intimate with all three. The snake, tiger, and leopard during this time. It was unknown whose cub she was carrying. She broke down and cried out in anguish. The snake sensed Ching Ching's resonance. He moved so fast, leaving sparks and lightning that his shadow couldn't even be seen. In the blink of an eye, he was by his wife's side. The three handsome beasts argued, each claiming it was his cub. However, Ching Ching looked worried and just wanted to go home. Curtis's eyes were full of concern. He gently picked her up and returned home. The little tiger wondered why Ching Ching was so fertile. The females here only had their period once a year. They could only get pregnant once a year, but Bai Jingjing had just given birth to cubs 2 months ago. Now she got pregnant just by eating an insect. Ching Ching worried that Winston would think of her as a monster. Among her 3 mates, only Winston didn't know her secret, so she decided to tell him about it. The little tiger listened attentively, like a curious kitten. Bai Jingjing explained that she had her period several times a month, and she could get pregnant all year round. The little tiger's jaw dropped in disbelief. After confessing, Ching Ching felt relieved. but she still feared Winston would think of her as a freak. Unexpectedly, the little tiger got more excited as he listened. He declared he wanted to have 100 cubs to expand their species. Ching Ching couldn't help but burst out laughing. This caused everyone present to laugh along. The little leopard was certain it was his cub. The snake scoffed at his daydream. "It must be my snake," he said. The snake and leopard cubs started arguing again. Bai Jingjing wondered why Winston wasn't concerned about the child. Did he not want children? However, the little tiger's eyes betrayed him. This guy definitely cared more than anyone else. The snake and leopard saw Changing cuddling with Winston. They immediately paused their fight and united against the outsider, so they pushed the little tiger out to hunt. But they didn't expect Ching Ching to want to go along. It turned out she just wanted to go out and enjoy the moonlight. Curtis agreed with an animal. He then picked up by Ching Ching before Parker could. Their eyes met full of affection. The little leopard's teeth ached with jealousy as he cried. The three little leopard cubs held wanted to go too. Then they immersed themselves in the moonlight. The little leopard cubs excitedly wagged their tails. They wanted to touch the baby in mommy's belly, but they were pulled away by their leopard dad. They whined and called out more happily. Ching Ching asked what the leopard cubs were saying. Parker explained they said there's a little leopard cub in mommy's belly. The snake's face was full of murderous intent when he heard this. The little milk leopards were so scared they held in the fart they were about to release. They quickly changed their words, saying there was a little snake in Ching Ching's belly. Parker angrily threw the disloyal cubs out, cursing them as spineless, stinky kids as he spoke. A glint flashed in his eyes. Winston was seen returning with a wild pig on his shoulder. The leopard rushed to snatch the food with lightning speed. It turned out he wanted to personally roast the pig for Changing. Bai Jingjing looked at all this as if she were dreaming. The family's happy laughter and joy, a harmonious atmosphere. At this moment, a strange sound was heard. Suddenly, a figure appeared in front. Under everyone's intimidation, it darted out. It turned out to be the most handsome fish tiger leopard from the ocean. Everyone pursed their lips with black lines on their faces. Only Bai Jingjing welcomed him happily and asked the merman, what was the round thing in his hand? "This is a luminous pearl that glows. Poke it with your finger and immediately a group of small fish come out." The foodie slightly widened her eyes and pursed her lips. Grinning mischievously, she gestured if they could be roasted to eat. The little merman was speechless. These are fish that clean dirt inedible. She recalled that there were such cleaning fish in modern times too. But thinking that these fish would also clean smelly feet, she instinctively spat. "I can't believe I was thinking of roasting them to eat just now." The merman blue cat couldn't help but burst into laughter. Then he wanted to pull Changing back to the water hole to have little handsome fish babies. Alio was rejected again. Bai Jingjing said she could introduce him to a prettier female. The little blue-haired one turned a deaf ear and left angrily. The handsome fish tried to drag the girl underwater to have fish babies. Just as he was struggling desperately, a red tail suddenly appeared. He thought it was a red mermaid and quietly reached out to catch it. He actually managed to grab it. The next second, a big snake lifted him into the air with a splash. The handsome fish was almost scared to death. It turned out to be the strongest Beastman, Curtis. Seeing this, the little merman took out a crystal ball to apologize. With a gentle swipe of his finger, a group of cleaning fish gushed out. Bai Jingjing was delighted. At this moment, a small fish swam over slowly. Wanted to help clean his body, the snake gathered these cleaning fish together. The little fish swarmed over, nibbling on Jingjing's smelly feet. Making her feel tingly, feeling great, the little blue cat couldn't help but cover his mouth and giggle. "Your coquettish little expression is too exaggerated." Parker came over holding the cleaning fish, wanting to help clean Ching Ching's teeth. The snake became extremely jealous and furious. He knocked over the little fish in his hand. The girl could only bury her mouth in the water to lure these cleaning fish. The fish began to swim into her mouth with a gurgling sound. The little blue cat looked at his moon goddess, his eyes misty. He was amused by Ching Ching's funny expression. Curtis noticed the handsome fish's sneaky expression. Ching Ching's teeth were spotlessly white after cleaning. The snake's heart raced and he drooled at the sight. "Sticky fish beast, watch how I make you furious." Unexpectedly, he stole the girl's first kiss of the day with a smack. After succeeding, he licked his lips and showed off to the little blue cat. Ching Ching's little face immediately turned red with embarrassment. "You rogue snake, there are outsiders here." The single little merman turned his head fuming. He rolled his eyes and glared fiercely at Curtis. With a haughty face, he pursed his lips. Seeing the situation wasn't right, Ching Ching quickly ran ashore. She ran while chattering nonstop. Suddenly, a figure appeared right in front of her. Bong, the two collided head-on. It turned out to be her third husband, Vincent. The little tiger had actually found human edible vegetables. Wow, there's even spinach here. Saying this, she started eating it raw with loud chomps. Vincent informed her that he had found a place to build a castle. He lifted her up high in his arms. I'll take you there now. The two gazed at each other lovingly, their eyes meeting. Unexpectedly, they were encountered by the little leopard on the way. Seeing the two being intimate and in such an ambiguous position, he suddenly burned with jealousy. He spread his arms to block their path. Seeing this, Vincent was fearless, calmly, and slowly. He put Parker down gently, he raised his fist and charged over. At this moment, the two were still being lovey-dovey. They didn't take the little leopards seriously at all. The tiger's sharp eyes flashed. With lightning-fast speed, he grabbed the opponent. Then he pinned him to the ground and rubbed furiously. Parker was beaten so badly, he transformed back to his original form. Seeing this, Jingjing hurriedly came forward to break up the fight. Several little leopard cubs came running, rushing to help. The leopard dad let out a roar and bit the tiger's shoulder. Seeing the leopard cubs whose teeth hadn't even fully grown, he stopped attacking upon hearing them. Parker let out an angry roar, ordering the stinky kids not to meddle. The little ones immediately deflated. They all rolled off the tiger's body. They scampered to their mother's side for comfort. Unexpectedly, they were met with a series of thumps. You three stinky kids don't bite your own family, understand? The little leopard cubs nodded, crying pitifully. On the other side, the tiger and leopard were still fighting to the death. The battle was about to erupt. Seeing this, Jingjing shouted to stop them, I'm hungry. She rubbed her round little belly as she said this. The little leopard immediately whooshed up to the tree hollow to find food. The girl covered her mouth and giggled. You little thing, I know how to handle you, so Parker started to make a fire and cook. After fighting with Vincent, he realized he was the weakest in this family, afraid that Jingjing would think he was useless. He grinned and said he'd grill some meat for his wife to eat. The girl felt both sorry and angry. You're so injured. How can you cook? She then pushed him to go lie down. I'll do it myself. Parker felt a sharp pain. Jingjing quickly withdrew her hand. Looking at the battered leopard, she felt full of guilt. She moved behind him and said she'd give him a back rub. The little leopard's eyes flashed. He immediately lay down on the ground, sticking his little bit up. I'm ready, you can rub now. Jingjing suddenly felt she had been tricked. Bai Jingjing took a bite of the little turtle. Her little belly immediately swelled up. She was pregnant. The snake lovingly rubbed her head. It's a little female beast. Oh my gosh, will the female baby be born as a human? After getting a definite answer, she was so happy she could fly. That's great. Finally, I can have a baby who can talk to me. At this moment, Parker brought a bowl of turtle soup. Jingjing just smelled it and she almost threw up her stomach. The snake told Parker to throw the soup away to feed the dogs. The girl said she only wanted to eat fish. Hearing this, the little leopard had a jolt. She likes fish so much it must be my cub. He immediately ran off happily to make fish. After a while, the hot fish soup was finally ready. However, it looked a bit strange. Parker tested it himself. He picked up a piece of fish and stuffed it into his mouth. 1 second, he was chomping away with relish. The next second, it was like swallowing needles hard to get down. Jingjing's little hand trembled slightly, not daring to use her chopsticks, but her little tummy protested with growls. Seeing this, the leopard wanted to grill some meat for her to eat. The stubborn foodie pouted, I don't care, I want fish, fish, only fish. The snake instructed Parker to take good care of Jingjing. Then he went to the deep mountains to find ingredients. Chef Leopard still didn't give up and continued to make fish. The ground was full of fish, but none of them had the taste Jingjing wanted. The little leopard was on the verge of tears, blaming himself for being incapable. That night, the little tiger quietly came to Jingjing's side. I heard you ate hundreds of fish today. The girl nodded shyly. The little tiger secretly rejoiced. It must be my cub. As soon as he said this, he was met with the leopard's opposition. He quickly rushed forward and pushed him away. Vincent bared his teeth, claiming that Jingjing was carrying a leopard. The two Beastmen started fighting again over a single word. However, the most arrogant one often gets beaten. Parker said the one who talks the toughest gets beaten the hardest. He was beaten so badly, he was pooping but still laughing, because fighting against the strong was greatly beneficial to him. The more he encountered experts, the greater his chances of survival. This day was like any other. Bai Jingjing was playing with the little cubs. A little one couldn't hold it and needed to poop. Embarrassed, he turned and ran away. The leopard mom couldn't help but burst into laughter. Suddenly, a calling sound came from the sky. Looking up, it was the green-feathered peacock beast. The girl couldn't help but be infatuated. Seeing this, the little green feathered one was overjoyed, his heart racing. Ching Ching has finally noticed my beautiful figure, but in his excitement, he crashed into a tree trunk. With a whoosh, he fell headfirst into the bushes. It was almost laughable. He fell so hard he was crawling out face first. Striding on his long legs of 18 years of singledom towards Bai Jingjing, they say you're pregnant again. Is it true? He said, sneakily staring at her round little belly. The girl nodded, saying it was a female cub. The little peacock's jaw dropped. He thought back, if only he had been nicer to Ching Ching back then, this female baby might have been his. She took out some food from her pocket. Bai Ching Ching instinctively stepped back. She immediately refused her kindness. At this moment, the infatuated little female tiger came with flowers in her hands. She stared at the food in the little green feathered one's hand, swallowing. You really found the flame fruit. Jing Jing thought it was a fruit that could breathe fire. The little female tiger was excited. This fruit can promote the sensitive period for females when eaten. Hearing this, her little face turned red with embarrassment. She asked the peacock beast if she could have one to try. The little green feathered one was indifferent. He turned and handed it to his beloved. This flirtatious expression made Ching Ching's scalp tingle. The little female tiger's heart shattered as if struck by lightning. She watched helplessly as the man she admired was being attentive to another woman. Humbly, she begged the little green feathered one to give her one again. However, she was met with a ruthless rejection. Tears uncontrollably wet her eyes. Her heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. Her whole body trembled. The fresh flowers in her hand scattered on the ground. Shedding tears of heartbreak, she turned and left. Changing felt deeply sorry for her. She glared angrily at the peacock beast for not being gentlemanly. Fuming, she decisively rejected his kindness. The little green feathered one became extremely anxious. He immediately scurried over to give it to the little hedgehog Jasmine. Jing Jing sighed deeply, hoping Jasmine wouldn't ignore her because of this. At this moment, Vincent suddenly appeared out of nowhere. He was carrying a huge, fat-headed fish on his shoulder. The girl's eyes widened like a little greedy cat. Oh my goodness, how long will it take to eat such a big fish? Then they went to the lakeside to process the big fish. The little tiger's hands moved as fast as lightning, chopping away. Jing Jing wondered how to eat such a big fish. Suddenly, she had an idea. Why don't we make fish balls to eat? She then asked Parker to help. The wife-doting little leopard immediately sprang into action. He worked together with Vincent, dividing the tasks. As expected of the Tiger King, he looked incredibly handsome when cooking seriously. That muscular body, those 18-pack abs, Bai Ching Ching's gaze became dreamy, her heart pounding wildly. She licked her lips and swallowed hard. The little leopard saw this scene and felt extremely sour. He tried to divert Changing's attention with delicious food. You know what, this trick really worked. He immediately scurried over to Parker's side. He tried a bite, the taste was heavenly delicious. He gave Parker 2 thumbs up. The little leopard let out a long breath, secretly pleased. The girl wanted to have 99 cubs with the leopard. Unexpectedly, the big spotted leopard was sleeping like a little Peppa Pig, so she tugged down his leopard ears and blew a puff of air. The little leopard instantly woke up, his hair standing on end. Then with a loud bang, he transformed into human form, twisting and turning shyly. You don't know males' ears can't be pinched. As soon as he finished speaking, a roar came from outside. A group of single beast men had gathered in the tribe. Parker carried Changing on his shoulders to join the excitement. They saw a group of male beast men returning, carrying several females. These females were all exchanged for food. With this, the tribe had fewer single beasts. Suddenly, a large snake coiled around Bai Changing's waist. You seem to enjoy it. The next second she was lifted high. In a flash, she was coiled into the big snake's arms. Seeing it was her big husband, the girl was overjoyed. Excitedly, she caressed that incredibly handsome face. The two couldn't help but smooch each other, just as they were immersed in the nourishment of love. The leopard suddenly appeared, breaking this ambiguous atmosphere. Curtis coldly glanced at Parker, ignoring him. He kissed even more deeply. The little leopard couldn't fight back. He could only swallow this bitter pill. The snake became increasingly presumptuous. Parker was burning with jealousy. His upper and lower teeth were fighting each other. In the blink of an eye, evening came. Vincent prepared food for the exchanged females. They looked at Bai Ching Ching as if seeing a disaster star because these females all came from Wancho City. Until they tasted the delicious feast, they all praised Ching Ching endlessly. Suddenly, a fish had popped out of the lake's surface nearby, peeping at every move on the shore. Quietly swimming to the shore, it poked Ching Ching's little bud. She turned around abruptly, scared into letting out a loud fart. The handsome fish made a shushing gesture, signaling not to make a fuss. He stretched out those salty fish hands asking for food. Bai Jingjing, fearing he'd starve into a stinky salty fish, passed him a bowl of soup. The little merman was overjoyed, singing a love song. The next second his face suddenly changed. He saw the little tiger glaring at him fiercely. With a clang, the food in his hand fell. He bared his teeth, preparing for battle. The two were instantly at daggers drawn. The girl warned the little blue-haired not to enter the tiger's mouth. The handsome fish looked fierce on the surface, but inside he was actually panicking. Fortunately, Ching Ching stopped Vincent. The little merman sighed in relief, glad to have kept his life. Meanwhile, the male beastmen were holding a martial arts competition for marriage. The winner could take away a female. The struggle was bloody and intense. Seeing this, Bai Ching Ching couldn't bear to watch. So she asked Parker to accompany her for a walk. Vincent was a bit worried, so he quietly followed behind. Along the way, the playful leopard started playing hide and seek. Ching Ching looked around but couldn't see anyone. The leopard was secretly pleased. Grinning, he swung his tail, poking his wife's little belly. "Damn stinky leopard, get down here," she said, grabbing the leopard's tail and pulling it down. In an instant, Parker's whole body felt hot, his face turning red. He quickly retracted his tail, frantically howling and running around wildly. After a while, he finally calmed down. At this time, Chin Ching came bouncing over. The leopard's mouth curved upward, revealing a mischievous smile. "You came looking for yourself." Then he planted a kiss on her. "What do you mean came looking for it?" Before he could finish speaking, his mouth was blocked again. The little leopard used too much force, making him breathless. He immediately pushed him away. "Stinky leopard, you can't be naughty. This is the middle of nowhere." The burning leopard didn't care about anything else. He pinned his wife against a tree. His expression was extremely flattering, claiming that intimacy helps with fertility. The girl angrily said it was nonsense. The little leopard pouted reluctantly, saying it's true. "If you don't believe me, ask Vincent behind us." Unexpectedly, the little tiger was hiding behind. And he even agreed with Parker's words. The love-struck leopard was extremely excited, eagerly hugging his wife to the tree hollow to have cubs. Vincent was fully focused on guarding below. Suddenly, there was a rustling sound from the jungle. He turned his head and roared angrily, "Come out if you dare. Want to steal females from our tribe. Unless you step over my dead body." The girl was having cubs with the leopard. Unexpectedly, a pack of evil wolves invaded the tribe. "They want to snatch away the females here." Bai Ching Ching told Parker to go help. Then he jumped down from the tree hollow, hugging the little leopard cubs and cuddling next to the snake. A leopard cub shyly climbed onto the snake's body, standing tall and proud, protecting Mom behind him. Ching Ching was full of pride. She told the cubs to quickly come down. The little ones even started playing slide. Unexpectedly, Curtis suddenly stood up. The little cub stumbled and fell on its back, legs flailing in the air. Ching Ching hurriedly hugged the cubs in her arms, afraid that the snake might swallow them whole. Curtis was seen moving around behind them. Then he called them all into his embrace, falling into a relaxed, deep sleep. Despite the fears fighting outside, the brutal sounds of battle made Bai Ching Ching restless. She poked her little head out of the hole to investigate. She saw a wild beast forcibly abducting a female. Filled with righteous indignation, she shouted for them to stop. Parker rushed over at the sound and punched the wolf beast, flying. A wolf beast discovered by Ching Ching. It immediately climbed up to the tree hollow, intending to grab her. A painful howl was heard. The wolf beast was tightly gripped by the neck by Curtis. Then he sent it to meet its maker. Throwing it out of the tree hollow to feed the ants. The girl was still in shock, feeling a wave of fear. The snake lifted her up high, saying, "I'm here. I won't let you." Changing told him to go help. Curtis said to strengthen the tribe, they need to go through trials. Meanwhile, the little tigress Peggy sat slumped on the ground, screaming in pain. Her round belly was an unbearable pain. With a push, she gave birth to several tiger cubs just as they were immersed in joy. A wolf beast was sneaking up to ambush them. "Watch out for the hungry wolf." The couple heard Ching Ching's warning. Seeing this, the hungry wolf quickly launched a fierce attack. But unexpectedly, its plan backfired. It was directly punched and sent flying. It fled, rolling and crawling away in shame. At this moment, they huddled tightly together. Bai Ching Ching was moved to tears. She felt it was too dangerous to continue like this. Curtis, that big lazy snake, certainly couldn't be relied upon, so she led the females to the water hole. She picked up a large stone and threw it into the water, calling for the handsome fish. The little blue cat immediately surfaced before he could figure out what was happening. The wolf beasts behind were gradually closing in. She begged the handsome fish to let these females hide in the water. The little blue cat was more than willing. However, the females hesitated, afraid of drowning in the water. Chinching reassured the Beastmen. Such a handsome fish would surely protect everyone. Receiving the compliment, the little blue cat was thrilled. At this moment, a pack of hungry wolves pounced. Fortunately, Parker arrived just in time. He transformed into his beast form to block their paths. The wolf beast stood frozen, not daring to act rashly. On the other side, the handsome fish was blowing bubbles, letting everyone hide inside the bubbles. The little blue cat told Chinching to go in first, but she told the little merman to quickly blow bubbles. There were still over 40 females, let them go down first. The blue cat could only reluctantly comply. The females hid in the bubbles one by one. The wolf pack couldn't hold back and engaged Parker. Tiger King Vincent also rushed over. A small Kurami tried to sneak attack from behind. Before he could act, he was sent to drink Meng Po's soup. To buy time for Ching Ching, Vincent roared to the sky while saving people. The male beast men heard the Tiger King's signal. They rushed to the lakeside to assist without delay. The wolf beasts saw the opposing beast men growing in number. They immediately summoned more companions. Packs of hungry wolves came surging in waves. The Tiger King blocked their path. Those who want to die come forward. Unexpectedly, the cunning wolf beasts attacked from 3 directions. In the blink of an eye, they reached the lakeside. The handsome fish saw the situation was not good. He immediately rushed ashore to stop them. He absolutely couldn't let Zinking get hurt. Unexpectedly, these hungry wolves attacked the water wheel, without the water wheel providing oxygen. The survival rate of the females in the water would greatly decrease. Another group of wolf beasts was approaching Jasmine. Smelling the female's scent, the hungry wolves were extremely excited. They wanted to devour the little tigress alive. At this critical moment, a fierce tiger burst out. With one bite, it tore the wolf beast to shreds. The hungry wolves were beaten back step by step with the leader's command. Both sides engaged in a fierce battle. Taking this chance, the team leader went to rescue Jasmine. On the way, he met the peacock beast. The little tiger cub was overjoyed. He waved and went to the water hole himself. The little green-haired one also noticed. He said he'd return after delivering the female in his arms. As soon as the green-haired one left, a wolf beast sprang out. It pounced on Jasmine, wanting to forcibly mate with her. The little tigress refused to submit and was bitten. Little but threw it hard to the ground. The elder angrily shouted at the wolf beast to stay away from Jasmine, but he was surrounded by the wolf pack. Jasmine was also caught by another wolf beast. The white tiger saw the situation was not good. He quickly rushed forward to save them. Jasmine fell face first like a tiger eating dirt. Was this being rescued? The tigers and wolves fought fiercely. The little tigers wondered where such a brave male came from. That brave tiger beast. If you defeat the evil wolves, I'll be your mate. Hearing this, the fierce tiger's fighting power exploded. In no time, the wolf beast was dead. Then he excitedly walked slowly towards Jasmine. How could it be you? At the crucial moment, the peacock beast appeared. The little tiger happily waved at him. The little green-haired one grabbed her. With a leap, he headed towards the water hole. The white tiger looked at the peacock beast with displeasure. The little green-haired one also found the other very annoying. The wolf beast kidnapped girls to go back and have 100 cubs. Bai Jingjing led the females to hide in the water hole. It was dark in the water, making them anxious. Seeing this, Ching Ching came up with a plan. She told the handsome fish to bring the light pearls. The little blue cat told him to hide in the bubble first. After a while, he brought back shiny light pearl sticks, then distributed them to everyone. In an instant, the water was filled with light. However, one problem after another arose. The mischievous little leopard cub jumped up and down. The bubbles rolled back and forth. Changing was thrown head over heels. Her head was buzzing. She almost crashed into another bubble right after. The strong shockwave made both sides fall with their feet in the air. Luckily, the handsome fish stabilized it in time and the bubble finally stopped rolling. Meanwhile, the wolf beast pack was heading towards the waterhole. To stop these evil wolves, Vincent used Ching Ching's clothes to lure them up a tree. The wolf pack smelled the female scent and fell for it. As soon as they entered the tree hollow, they were pounded heavily, then thrown to the bottom of the tree dead. Another wolf beast went up to investigate. As soon as it reached the entrance, it was thrown out, seeing the sun. The leader, furious, bared his teeth. Who's playing tricks? Get out here. He then gathered all the wolf beasts to attack together. The pack of evil wolves angrily stormed into the tree hollow. Unexpectedly, they were beaten and thrown out one after another. They fell to the ground, all dead. The wolf beast leader could no longer act arrogantly, panicking greatly. He fled with the surviving companions. Vincent rubbed his shoulder. He coldly smiled. These fools are truly no match. On the other side, the handsome fish was repairing the damaged water wheel. The mischievous leopard cub nuzzled against Mama's little butt. Bai Jingjing suddenly felt dizzy. She tapped the bubble to summon the little blue cat. I think I'm seeing stars. I can't breathe. The blue cat immediately pushed her to the surface. After emerging from the water, she felt much better. She turned her head towards the shore. She saw Beastmen corpses everywhere. As the war finally over, looking around, she saw Parker licking his smelly feet. The leopard is fine, she was delighted. She happily went at him. The little leopard transformed into human form and quickly put on bee skin. Ching Ching's face immediately turned red and she looked away. The leopard blinked mischievously with a naughty smile. The girl hurriedly covered her chest. Why are you smiling like that? Don't misunderstand. The wolf bee's pack has been driven away by Vincent. I'm just happy about that. Ching Ching pouted. You little rascal, you're good at pretending, just as the two were being lovey-dovey. The handsome fish suddenly popped up. He stated that the females underwater needed sufficient oxygen. Could that stupid leopard install the water wheel? Parker immediately flared up. You stinky fish are the stupid one. Is this how you ask for help? I saved the females from your tribe. Who's asking whom for a favor? Parker was so angry he wanted to bite the little blue hare to death. Changing advised him not to be impulsive. For the safety of the tribe, just help install it, okay? Once his wife spoke, he could only immediately comply. After returning home, they smelled an unfamiliar scent. Parker transformed into beast form and rubbed back and forth on the ground. He rubbed inside and then continued outside. Ching Ching mumbled and kept backing away. You're not sleeping with me tonight. The little leopard looked utterly wronged. He grumbled, it's all Curtis's fault for letting the wolf be sin. It stinks, he said, approaching his wife with ulterior motives. Bai Ching quickly waved her hands in refusal. The leopard pouted disappointedly. The girl felt bad and quickly went to comfort him. I'll sleep with you after you're clean. Parker was overjoyed. He ran off to wash himself. The next day, the males came to the water hole. They lifted a large rock and threw it into the water. The handsome fish suddenly burst out of the water. Indignantly, he threw the rock towards the tiger beast on the shore. The little tiger apologized repeatedly, begging the little blue cat to release the females from the water. The little blue cat snorted coldly. Yawning and puffing up angrily, he sank to the bottom of the water. He woke up those females, seeing the fierce-looking handsome fish. Everyone was a bit timid and hesitant. They didn't dare to make a sound. Hey, are you all mean? Can't you hear me? Come over quickly. Jasmine reluctantly took the lad, trembling. She crawled into the bubble, afraid that the merman might eat her if he wasn't happy. Fortunately, it was just a false alarm. Eventually, all the females safely reached the shore. A girl was captured by evil wolves to bear cubs. Luckily, a white tiger heroically saved her. The girl became even more terrified. It turned out the tiger beast was her abandoned mate. She immediately ran away. The white tiger Carl chased after her. Jasmine, afraid of revenge, stopped in her tracks. She didn't expect Carl to become so brave. He had actually evolved into a two-striped beast. Carl discovered that Jasmine had no male beef stripes on her body. Excitedly, he grabbed her arm, overjoyed. The girl winced in pain and pouted. Let's talk properly. Carl was secretly pleased, feeling there was still hope. The two walked side by side into the small forest. By chance, they were seen by the peacock beast. The little green-haired one felt sour and unhappy. Jasmine and Carl sat down for a long talk. She couldn't help but burst out laughing. You suddenly becoming serious, it's a bit strange. If I had been like this back then, would you not have abandoned me? The girl, full of guilt, couldn't look him in the eye. She lowered her head, lost in thought. The little tiger pounced on Jasmine, wanting to have cubs on the spot. We're not mates anymore, we should keep our distance. Carl finally realized he was too excited. He immediately sat up straight and apologized. I heard you don't have a sensitive period. Some males don't want to pursue you, but I don't care about that. I don't ask you to bear my cubs, I just want to be by your side. Hearing this, the girl's eyes welled up with tears. Tears of emotion wet her cheeks, sobbing. She turned and ran away. Watching his moonlight's retreating figure, the little tiger beast expression was conflicted. Do I no longer have a chance? Early the next morning, Jingjing had just woken up when she felt a snake. The cool feeling must be Curtis. She immediately lay on the snake's body, cuddling and nuzzling. By chance, the leopard witnessed this scene. He immediately pulled her off the snake's body, thoughtfully helping his wife fan herself. Don't lie on that stinky snake. If you're hot, I'll fan you, he told Ching Ching to go wash up at the water hole first. A tiger beast approached from the lake. He handed over a string of fruits. He quickly waved his hands in refusal. It turned out the fruit was for Jasmine. He was asked to deliver it. Bai Jingjing immediately ran to find the little female tiger. As soon as she arrived, she heard crying sounds. She immediately called her down, silly girl. Don't cry, a handsome little tiger beast sent you a gift, she said, taking out the string of fruits. Jasmine's sorrow turned to joy. She then handed Chinching one, munching happily, feeling sweet inside. I'll be with that little tiger in the future. However, the next second she fell for someone else, it was because she saw the charming peacock beast. Her eyes immediately sparkled and she started drooling. On the other side, Vincent brought back dozens of tiger beasts to strengthen the tribe. The Beastmen cheered excitedly. The noisy clamor woke up Curtis. He couldn't help but smile. He stretched with a yawn. With a flick of his tail, he wrapped around Ching Ching's waist. He flashed behind her, cuddling and nuzzling like a greedy snake. He draped himself over his wife's fragrant shoulders. Taking advantage of her unpreparedness, he kissed her. The two couldn't help but smooch. Vincent was settling the newly joined Beastmen. After finishing, he immediately went to find Bai Jingjing. As soon as they met, he poked around belly. Little did he know the baby in her belly was his. Ching Ching gently wiped his sweat. Seeing this, the domineering snake pulled her into his arms. He turned and walked towards the tree hollow's exit. With a flick of his tail, he wrapped around the upper branch. In a flash, they flew into the air. They arrived at the top of the tree. He closed his eyes tightly, not daring to look down. Unconsciously, he hugged the snake's waist tightly. His uneasy hands caressed the snake's body back and forth. The cool feeling was truly refreshing. At this moment, Vincent climbed up from the lower level of the tree hollow. He thoughtfully laid out a cool mat for changing. Curtis said he was going out to hunt. Actually, he was going to find a safe place to shed his skin. Be careful. Come back early. As soon as he finished speaking, the snake approached. He planted a kiss on those cherry-like lips. After succeeding, he ran away in a flash. Chinching covered her blushing face. This improper rascal snake, after Curtis left, the atmosphere became incredibly subtle. Although she had been with Vincent for many days, she still felt a bit reserved. The little tiger took the initiative. He put his arm around her shoulder. I will definitely protect you well. The girl couldn't help but cover her mouth and giggle. He really was an adorable, silly tiger. The atmosphere between them gradually became ambiguous, just as they were about to kiss and hug. Parker brought the leopard cubs out. Like a child who never grew up, he nuzzled against Ching Ching's chest, acting cute and begging for hugs. Then he quickly changed into human form. Vincent immediately pulled Ching Ching into his arms. Vincent rolled his eyes, very unhappy. He changed in a beast form, pitifully lying on the other side. The little leopard was secretly delighted. Their family was happy together, only the little tiger looked pitiful. Until Chinching called him to eat fish together at night. The little tiger's sorrow turned to joy. Chinching still loves me. The little leopard caught a mermaid. Bai Jingjing was excited, but it turned out to be a piranha. In anger, he broke open the fish's belly. Golden fish roe gushed out. Chinching was overjoyed, clapping her hands. She picked up the fish roe, about to eat it raw. Tears couldn't stop flowing from the corners of her mouth. At this moment, a fish head suddenly popped out of the water. It turned out to be the handsome merman. He roared angrily at the two on the shore. You're too cruel, how could you eat fish? Yuzu's father quickly swam ashore to stop them. Bai Jingjing looked exasperated. You care so much about fish roe. Why don't you care about the gutted big fish? The little blue-haired one puffed up his cheeks with hands on his hips because that's food. Jingjing shrugged with a look of disdain. Won't the fish fry grow up to be food too? Hearing this, the handsome fish felt it made sense. But thinking that he also came from fish roe, he angrily blamed Jingjing. They're destroying lives. He declared he'd rather die than eat his own kind. But he couldn't escape the true fragrance principle. He ended up eating more happily than anyone else. Parker called him shameless. Angrily, he chopped up the other half of the fish too. The playful leopard cubs smelled the fish aroma. They rushed towards the big fish with their short legs, fast as lightning. One of them braked suddenly and crashed into the fish head, instantly dizzy and seeing stars. The little leopard cub wanted to swallow the fish head whole. The leopard mothers scolded them to stop. The little ones retreated pitifully. Suddenly, they found a pile of fish poop nearby. Like dogs that can't change their habit of eating poop, they ate it with relish. Seeing this, Changing wanted to spank them. Eating fish poop will make females dislike you when you grow up, and your eating manners are so crude. So she taught the leopard cubs how to eat properly to win females' hearts. To prevent them from becoming old bachelors when they grow up, the little leopard cubs learned very seriously. After a while, Parker made another pot of fish. The handsome fish was full of anticipation. The little leopard smiled mischievously. The moment the lid was opened, the little blue-haired one froze in place. The leopards had eaten all the fish roe and meat. The little merman fell to his knees, crying heartbrokenly. Ching Ching was helpless. These naughty leopards were too mischievous. Then she called Vincent to come and taste the food together. The feast was about to begin. The fish and leopard ate like starving ghosts reincarnated. They could eat more than Peppa Pig and George. The little blue cat was crying over the cooked fish roe a second ago. Now he treated his previous words like farts. He ate with great enjoyment, feeling ecstatic. He never thought fish roe could be so delicious. Suddenly, a chill came from behind. It turned out Curtis had returned from hunting. The little leopards howled excitedly. Chinching saw the wild boar in his hand and was delighted. Great, we have port to eat again. The snake's sharp eyes glanced at the handsome fish. He suddenly tore the wild boar pepper in half. The little blue cat was so scared he wet himself, trembling. He ran away faster than a turtle. Chinching was dumbfounded. Luckily, it wasn't that person being torn apart. The fish beast then approached the snake from behind, inviting him to eat fish together. The snake was gloomy and remained silent. Bai Jingjing pouted. Was Curtis jealous? After a while, the little blue-haired one returned. He was carrying a large pot. Parker transformed into a chef. He started making sashimi with great skill. He gave the snake and tiger each a big bowl full of food. Only the little blue-haired one got just a few slices of fish. Such unfair treatment, you'll anger this stinky salted fish to death. The little merman didn't mind at all, eating more happily than anyone. Parker could only smile bitterly. What a fish-brained fellow. At this time, Vincent brought over a jar of grape wine. Chinching couldn't open it even with all her strength. The confident leopard said to let him try. With just a light touch of his paw, it opened. Instantly, the wind's aroma filled the air. Everyone was intoxicated by the scent. Even the little leopard cubs were captivated. They clamored to drink the grape wine. Seeing this, the leopard father angrily slammed the table and pulled the cubs away. Changing picked them up lovingly. She acted cute and asked Parker to let the cubs have a little. With that slightly coquettish tone, how could the tough leopard man resist? He obediently poured a bowl of wine for the cubs. Looking at these adorable little ones, Ching couldn't help but tear up. In her mind, she recalled scenes of snake babies secretly drinking wine before. These little leopard cubs secretly drank urine. The leopard father angrily slammed the table, furiously throwing the cubs to the ground. The leopard mother said they were drinking grape wine. She acted cute, asking Parker to let the cubs have a little. Parker couldn't resist that slightly coquettish tone. He obediently brought a bowl of wine for the little ones. Just as Bai Jingjing was about to drink, the snake snatched it away. He wanted to test if the wine was poisonous. Only after confirming it was safe did he let his wife drink. Meanwhile, the peacock beast was secretly hiding behind Jasmine. He suddenly leaned in to sniff her body. He sniffed up and down, unable to get enough. It turned out the little tiger had entered her sensitive period. That scent made the little peacock infatuated. He couldn't control his beast urges. He pinned the little tiger against the tree. Let me be your male, he said. Jasmine, who valued looks, eagerly agreed. The two couldn't help but cling together. At the crucial moment, the peacock beast stopped kissing. He pushed away and stepped back repeatedly. He suddenly remembered the two tiger beasts from a few days ago. They had fought fiercely to win Jasmine's heart. One of them had even been abandoned by him, so the little green-haired one refused to mate with Jasmine. The little female tiger held back tears, vowing to make the little peacock regretted. She stomped her foot and left. The surrounding males also smelled Jasmine's sensitive period scent. The excited males followed the scent in droves. At this time, she was secretly wiping away tears. Suddenly, a tiger beast rushed up from behind. Without a word, he embraced her. It turned out to be Jasmine's former suitor. Now she agreed to mate with him without hesitation. She immediately pulled the little tiger beast home to have cubs. The tiger cub was so excited his legs stiffened into an oat shape. On the way back, they encountered a group of Beastmen. Carl, who had been abandoned by Jasmine before, was at the forefront. He was about to approach and confess. Unexpectedly, as soon as he opened his mouth, he was sent flying 100 meters. He was beaten so hard he defecated. Why has this guy become so weak? Just kill me, even if I die, I won't give up pursuing you. As soon as Jasmine finished speaking, she was pinned to the ground and rubbed. Jasmine was somewhat moved and quickly stopped it. She accepted Carl as her second husband. The little tiger was so excited, he laughed his tiger teeth off. He wanted to make that narcissistic peacock beast regret it deeply. He couldn't wait to have cubs with the two tiger beasts on the spot. From then on, the three of them lived a shameless life. Finally, Carl revealed a sinister smile. That night, the leopard wanted to help his wife bathe. But when he reached out his paw, he was pushed away. Changing fiercely scolded him to get out. Parker could only reluctantly turn and leave. As soon as he stepped out the door, he snuck back in with a snake to peek. That evil gaze frightened Ching Ching, making her hurriedly cover her chest. She quickly soaked in the water to wash up, just as she was about to put on her clothes after finishing. A snake tail suddenly attacked, wrapping around her waist. Harker, seeing this, was furious. He wanted to tear this rogue snake to pieces. This action made the snake even more brazen. Right in front of the leopard, he wanted to have snake babies with Ching Ching. Bai Jingjing was so scared her face froze. She said she was pregnant and couldn't fool around. Curtis claimed more intimacy would make the baby stronger. Nonsense, he would feign if he got too excited. The leopard was burning with rage but didn't dare to act. The snake couldn't care less about him and held her tightly. By changing half-heartedly resisted, she said they could only be intimate after the baby was born. But she couldn't resist the strong rogue snake. Parker watched helplessly as they cuddled on the verge of tears. Like a deflated balloon, he immediately stood guard outside. A few days later, Carl sweet-talked Jasmine into leaving the tribe. The love-struck girl ultimately couldn't resist the player's sweet words. Carl then took her to a desolate place. One moment the girl was excited, the next moment she was anxious. Carl ran out of the tribe like a madman's. Although he desperately shouted to stop, the white tiger ignored him completely. After leaving the tribe, he threw Jasmine to the ground. The little tiger was trembling with fear. What do you want to do? Carl revealed his true face, full of hatred. Jasmine finally understood everything before was fake. From the beginning, Carl had a plan for revenge. The tiger in heat bit the girl's neck, forcibly trying to have 99 cubs with her. At the critical moment, another tiger beast appeared. Jasmine saw him as a lifeline. Let go of my female or I'll take your tiger life. He said as he launched an attack. The two fierce beasts fought fiercely. The girl's maid was no match for the white tiger and was pinned to the ground. The more Jasmine worried and cared for the white tiger, the more cruel Carl became. He bit off the other skin in one bite, still grieving but helpless. He struggled to get up, not wanted to wait for death. With his battered body, he went back to get help. Seeing this, the white tiger pounced on him. He pinned him down with his sharp tiger claws. The evil smile on his mouth was chilling. He frantically licked Jasmine's wounds. The heart-wrenching pain made the girl scream at the top of her lungs. The miserable wailing excited the white tiger even more. He frantically tore the animal's skin she was wearing. Then he picked her up and spun her around. He ran wildly. He desperately called for help, shouting until his voice was hoarse. The tragic howls echoed throughout the tribe. People found the dying tiger beast. Vincent and the peacock beast followed the sound. I heard you, little peacock, have quite some strength. The sudden compliment left the little green-feathered one confused. Suddenly, Vincent jumped onto his back. The peacock beast lost his balance, stumbling but helpless. Whimpering, you fat tiger should lose some weight. At this time, Jasmine was taken to the Crab King's territory. To revenge being abandoned, Carl again forcibly tried to have cubs with her. Afterwards, he even called several beastmen to join. The girl curled up on the ground, trembling. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have abandoned you back then. Hearing this, Carl became even more furious. He grabbed Jasmine's hair and lifted her up. She cried until her voice was hoarse, begging pitifully. But it only brought more severe beatings. He tightly gripped her neck. I was just married when you abandoned me. Do you know how much pain I endured? Saying this, he slammed the girl hard onto the ground. Then he kicked a piece of rotten, raw meat to her. She endured the pain and threw the smelly meat aside. If you want to die, then don't eat. At this moment, roars came from outside. It turned out to be Vincent who had arrived. Jasmine seized the chance to call for help. Carl hurriedly covered her mouth. Shout again and I'll eat you. Then he turned to go out and distract Vincent. Are you looking for me, respected Tiger King? After saying this, he ran like the wind into the Crab King's castle. Vincent immediately chased after him, suddenly feeling something was wrong. He stopped pursuing, seeing that the other hadn't fallen for it. Carl actually spoke rudely to provoke him. I didn't expect the mighty Tiger King to be such a coward. However, before he finished speaking, his neck was grabbed. Hand over Jasmine, where I'll send you to drink the soup of oblivion. Carl laughed maniacally. He claimed Jasmine had already been devoured by a group of beasts. Seeing you wouldn't budge, Vincent suddenly pinned him to the ground and rubbed him against it. Unexpectedly, Carl was stubborn. Even when beaten half to death, they still couldn't pry open that crow's mouth of his. Vincent roared in anger. With one bite, he disabled Carl's arm. When I find Jasmine, it will be your death day. After saying this, he left. Meanwhile, Ching Ching was treating Jasmine's mate's wounds. The little tiger beast endured the pain, wanting to go save his wife. Bai Jingjing quickly stopped him. With your little strength, you'd just be going to your death. Do you want Jasmine to come back heartbroken? The king will definitely rescue your wife. Hearing this, the little tiger beast finally agreed to rest and heal. However, half a month passed with still no news of Jasmine. Bai Jingjing sighed deeply. Parker was fully focused on helping her trim her toenails. Suddenly, she lifted those smelly feet. Jingjing lost balance, flailing her arms and leaning backward. She fell on her but almost splitting it open. "You stinky leopard. What are you trying to do?" Parker apologized repeatedly. Looking pitiful, he nuzzled his wife's cheek with his big mouth, comforting her to be happy so the baby in her belly would be healthy. Jingjing grimaced, forcing a smile that looked worse than crying. To make his wife happy, he used his own snake skin to make clothes for Jingjing. He just happened to want to make a dress. The snake stroked his handsome double chin. Suddenly, he had an idea. "I'll cut a few holes on both sides of your waist and tie the abdomen area with thin straps." Jingjing imagined the dress Curtis described. "That's way too revealing." She waved her hands to decline. The snake had a mischievous smile. Hugging his wife's waist, he said he was just joking. He immediately took up needle and thread to make the dress. To get revenge for being teased, she asked Curtis to embroider a flower on the dress. The snake yelped, pretending to prick his finger. He whimpered with a pitiful face. Jingjing felt very sorry for him and told him to stop. The next second, the snake grinned. "Silly, I was just tricking you." Bai Jingjing's plan backfired. The two played around full of happiness. The snake beast shed the skin from his body. To make clothes for Bai Jingjing, he immediately set to work. After a while, he actually made a dress. Jingjing couldn't help but praise. "Besides giving birth, is there anything you can't do? I can also help you change clothes." As he said this, the snake started to take off her top. The girl shyly declined. So the naughty snake started changing clothes himself. Unexpectedly, he got his head stuck while putting it on. The more he struggled, the tighter it became. Finally, with the snake's help, she managed to put on the beautiful snakeskin dress. Meanwhile, after Vincent disabled Carl's arm, he actually hid in a grave to heal his wounds. Coincidentally, Vincent and the peacock beast tracked him there. Seeing the situation was dire, Carl quickly fled. He dragged his battered body back to the stone. He immediately went to Jasmine's side. The girl trembled all over upon seeing him, as if seeing a ghost. Jasmine, who hadn't eaten for days, was tortured beyond recognition, although this was the result Carl wanted to see. He couldn't feel happy. He even felt a bit heartbroken. No, I'm here for revenge. I absolutely can't fall in love with this heartless woman again." The Beastmen nearby noticed Carl's unusual behavior. They realized he must be seriously injured. They wanted to take advantage of his weakness to kill him and take Jasmine. Gaussen said, "Don't you? These beasts were capable of anything." Moreover, Jasmine was so beautiful, it was unthinkable if she fell into their hands. So he tried to leave with Jasmine. Several Beastmen saw this and tried to stop them. Carl suddenly burst into rage, asking if they wanted to die. Everyone was intimidated by his powerful aura. They waved their hands, saying it was a misunderstanding. Pretending to care, they put a hand on his shoulder. The next moment, they suddenly tore open the wound on his shoulder. Then they laughed maniacally. He really was seriously injured. Bad, they found out. Immediately, a group of Beastmen rushed over. They launched a fierce attack on him. Carl was no match for so many opponents. He was completely defenseless. He threw Jasmine out of the cave, telling her to run quickly. The group of beasts, already desperate with lust, pounced on her. They wanted to mate with her on the spot. At the critical moment, the peacock beast arrived just in time. He rescued Jasmine from the beast's hands. Meanwhile, Vincent went to settle scores with Carl. Suddenly, a tiger's paw flew out unexpectedly. It turned out that Carl, in order to save Jasmine, had been completely devoured by the beasts. Once you take a wrong step in life, it's impossible to make up for it. This might have been the best outcome for him. After learning that Jasmine had been rescued, Vincent turned and left. On the other side, the little green-haired one dragged Jasmine day and night. He used all his strength to rush back. Heaven rewards those who persevere. They finally arrived safely at Balu. Jasmine's mate was overjoyed at the sight. He kept following the peacock beast, howling to the sky. The little green-haired one looked over at the sound, then quickly descended. He handed Jasmine over to her mates. The little tiger beast hugged his wife, crying tears of joy. The leopard informed Bai Jingjing of this news. He immediately brought a bowl of meat soup to visit. He found the entrance to Jasmine's tree hollow surrounded by peacock beasts. They were sitting leisurely on the tree trunk. Jingjing asked him why he didn't go in. "I'm not her male. Should I go in and steal her nest? Isn't it said that when a male saves a female, he can ask to be her mate?" The little green-haired one stammered, "I like you, not her." Hearing this, Parker immediately burned with jealousy. Frightened, the little peacock hid behind the tree, looking pitiful. Chin Ching scolded the leopard not to scare him silly. After drinking the meat soup, Jasmine finally woke up. She hugged the little tiger beast tightly, sobbing uncontrollably. The young couple embraced, crying their hearts out. Ching Ching was moved to tears on the side. She comforted them that everything was over, it was all Carl's fault. Carl, he's already dead. Boss hugged Ching Ching and jumped down the tree to die together. Heart-wrenching screams for help echoed through the entire forest. He was so scared that he wet his diapers several times. However, Parker was grinning, saying, "I was just kidding." A moment later, they finally landed safely. Bai Jingjing angrily tore at that leopard face. The little leopard covered his swollen face, crying. The mischievous Chin Ching stuck her tongue out at him. "See if you dare to die together again." The wife doting Parker could only immediately surrender. Then they returned to the treehouse. The virtuous wife Curtis made a whole box of clothes from his snake shed. The girl held the new clothes with joy, nuzzling and cuddling her husband's back. Then she lay on the cool snake belly. The snake took the opportunity to pick her up. He lovingly rubbed her head, smiling intimately. "Why don't you give me 100 babies as a thank you?" As he spoke, the two kissed passionately. A few days later, Vincent finally arrived safely. He also brought back a group of eagle beasts to join the tribe. At the same time, Bai Jingjing and Parker came to the water hole. They jump into the water all at once, splashing water onto the leopard on the shore. The little leopard excitedly pounced towards his wife, diving headfirst into the water. He didn't surface for a long time. Ching Ching anxiously looked around, worried he might have drowned. Little did she know the mischievous leopard was lifting her skirt underwater. Ching Ching thought a big fish had swam under her skirt. The next second, Parker suddenly emerged from under her skirt, exclaiming how comfortable his wife's belly was. Then he hugged her round belly, nuzzling and cuddling it. Afterwards, he dove into the water again for a moment, then suddenly popped up with a dead fish. He was holding cleaner fish in his hands with just a gentle poke of his paw. The little fish swarmed around them, frantically eating the dirt off their bodies. Changing quietly lifted her smelly feet for them to clean unexpectedly. The fish turned and swam away, repelled by the smell. They bit a hole. "Are my feet really that smelly?" she thought. These little fish all turned and swam towards Parker. The little leopard had an idea and pounced towards his wife. Surprisingly, the cleaner fish followed. At this time, the handsome fish returned from hunting. When he saw Bai Jingjing, it was as if he'd seen a rare treasure. He eagerly swam over. With a face full of confidence, he thought, "I can now hunt on land too. Am I qualified to be Bai Jingjing's mate now? Don't even think about it." Keep dreaming. The domineering Parker transformed into beast form and attacked. The handsome fish refused to back down and retaliate. The two beast men fought fiercely in the water. The powerful shockwaves hit Ching Ching in the face. She patted her water-swollen, wrinkled little hands. "Stop fighting, if you don't, I'll cry." The two snorted and finally settled down. The leopard trotted over to comfort his wife. At this moment, Vincent suddenly appeared. Seeing this, the handsome fish quickly slipped into the water. The little tiger saw Ching Ching and grinned from ear to ear. His tiger tail wagged excitedly like a rattled drum. The girl couldn't help but laugh. "Look at you, your tail is about to break off." The little tiger was so embarrassed he ran hundreds of miles on the spot. His toes could curl enough to make a 3-bedroom apartment. Then he trotted back again, panting heavily. He almost ran out of tiger life. Chin Ching linked arms with the tiger and leopard. The two happily returned home. As soon as they got home, Vincent was about to go to work again, but Changing grabbed him and wouldn't let him go. "The sun is so hot, it'll turn you from a white tiger into a black tiger. You better go out to work at night instead." Actually, Vincent understood it wasn't as hot at night, but no one understood his little inner struggle, because at night he could sleep beside Changing. Meanwhile, the peacock beast dropped a string of fruits from the sky. It hit Jasmine squarely on the head. He cursed angrily, "Who's the blind one?" Looking up, it turned out to be his former idol, the drop-dead gorgeous little peacock. The little tiger's anger instantly dissipated. "Are these fruits for me?" The little green-feathered one still played hard to get. "They were for Bai Jingjing. Since they hit you, I'll give them to you as an apology." Jasmine picked up the fruits from the ground. He recalled his past nightmare. After experiencing life and death, he no longer felt that initial flutter for the peacock beast. So he declined the other's kindness. The little green-feathered one was surprised. "Me so handsome I could drop pants actually got rejected? Are these fruits not tasty enough?" Jasmine said he could help deliver them to Bai Jingjing. Then he left with the fruits. Shortly after he found Ching Ching, the two best friends couldn't help but smile at each other. They picked up the fruits and ate them with relish. "Are those fruits from the little peacock really that delicious?" Hearing this, he spat out the fruit he had just eaten. "Are you sure these fruits were for me?" Jasmine nodded, obviously a bit disappointed. Only Changing understood the little scheme. She gave Jasmine's wooden head a couple of knocks. Silly, those fruits were especially for you from the little peacock. At this moment, a roar came from nearby. Vincent immediately went to investigate. It turned out the tribe had brought back another batch of females. Among them was also a male leopard. He actually smiled at Bai Jingjing. Jingjing was confused. Is this guy's brain damaged? The next moment he pounced over. It turned out to be an old acquaintance, Dr. Harvey. A skinny, crazed beast in heat pounced towards the two girls. The next moment he transformed into human form, looking incredibly handsome. It turned out to be just a false alarm. The skinny one was actually their old acquaintance, the veterinarian Harvey. This guy wasn't even wearing pants. How shameless! Ching told Parker to quickly get him a leather skirt. With a little skirt on, he looked incredibly handsome. The love-struck boy tugged at Changing skirt, grinning from ear to ear. This skinny guy is quite handsome. Is he your suitor? As soon as she finished speaking, Harvey walked towards them. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. He unexpectedly approached Jasmine and sniffed her little bottom. The girl hurried her bottom, looking confused. What are you trying to do, you pervert? I just smelled that your scent was off. You should be pregnant. Everyone was shocked. Jasmine said it was impossible. My sensitive period passed 2 months ago. If I were pregnant, my belly would be big by now. Then there's only one possibility. You're carrying a female cub. Jasmine could hardly believe her ears. She let out a cold sneer. The lingering nightmare resurfaced in her mind. Damn, this cub could very likely be Carl's. Unable to accept this fact, she turned and left. Ching was puzzled. Why wasn't she happy about carrying a female cub? The next moment, she suddenly realized, could this cub be Carl's? At this time, the vet also noticed something off about Ching's belly, learning that she was pregnant for months without feeling any movement. Harvey felt uneasy, so he pressed his ear to her belly to listen for any problems. After diagnosis, he said the cub was very weak. The couple broke out in a cold sweat. They asked what they should do. Don't worry, I'll go gather some herds that are good for the fetus. Then he went to look for herds of Parker. Just as they returned to the treehouse, Ching fainted in Vincent's arms. The little tiger comforted her that the baby would be fine. Suddenly, a snake tail descended from above. It coiled around Bai Jingjing and lifted her up. In a flash, she was in the snake's arms. He gently kissed her eyebrow. Don't cry, everything will be all right. She hugged the snake demon tightly, tears in her eyes. At this moment, a leopard's call came from outside the cave. Parker and the others had finally returned with the herbs. Curtis' expressionless face gradually darkened. If Ching keeps being so sad this time, it's not worth it. So they began to brew the medicine. Parker started making noodles. He thoughtfully fed them to his wife. Bai Ching caught sight of Vincent behind her from the corner of her eye. So she asked the vet if he could detoxify some poison. Harvey was stunned for a moment about the poison. It turned out that Vincent had been intimate with her after being poisoned, so he was worried the baby might be a tiger cub. The vet claimed there was a plant that could detoxify the poison. The little tiger immediately offered to go look for it together. Parker told him to stay and take care of Changing. He nodded guiltily, promising the little leopard to help wipe the tears from his wife's eyes. Then he showed his big white teeth. Wait till I come back, I'll give you meat to eat every day. Ching finally smiled. Her tear-stained face finally showed a smile. After Parker and the others left, Curtis, that clumsy fellow, suddenly appeared. Vincent silently walked to the side to guard his beloved. Ching gulped down the medicine in one go. Like a pug, she stuck out her tongue, exclaiming how bitter it was. The curious snake insisted on trying it. He spat it out immediately, spitting wildly. He pouted bitter to the point of tears, feeling sorry for his wife for a few seconds. Early the next morning, Parker finally returned with the herbs. He eagerly opened the medicine bag. Inside were bright green mung beans. Bai Jingjing's brain froze for a moment. Aren't these just mung beans? But mung beans do have a cooling and detoxifying effect. Harvey marveled, a female actually knows these things. Bai Jingjing grinned. I just know a little. These are common knowledge that everyone knows. As soon as she said this, she finally realized that except for herself, everyone else here was a beast man. So she changed the subject, telling Harvey to rest in his tree hole. At these words, both the snake and leopard suddenly showed fierce expressions. The little beast's legs immediately went weak, trembling. Chinging then realized she had said something wrong. Harvey was so scared he could barely speak. I can sleep anywhere, it's fine. He understood his own limitations. If he accepted by changing his invitation, he might not see tomorrow's sun. The perverted skinny guy liked to smell girls' stinky feet. This was his bizarre method of diagnosis. With one sniff, he could tell the girl was carrying a human-form female cub. He said the cub was very weak and in danger, so he took out a bag of miraculous medicine. Unexpectedly, it was just green mung beans. Aren't these just mung beans? Can they really cure illness? For the sake of the cub in her belly, he could only try it as a last resort. He instructed the leopard to cook the mung beans. Soon, a fragrant aroma wafted out. The little leopard couldn't wait to taste it. Bai Jingjing slapped his hand away. The leopard pouted, looking pitiful. The mung beans weren't fully cooked yet. Eating them would cause poisoning. Parker curled up into a ball, silent. He immediately used his trump card, acting cute and coy. He called out hubby in a coquettish voice. Hugging Parker, he broke into a smile. He was overjoyed, cautiously opening the pot lid, afraid his wife might be unhappy. Ching Ching looked apologetic, saying she wouldn't scold him anymore. A long-lost fragrance wafted over. The thoughtful leopard even blew on it to cool it for his wife. He took a sip with great anticipation. This taste was even more delicious than modern mung bean soup. Using it only as medicine would be a waste. Parker saw through his thoughts and promised to bring back more mung beans. Ching Ching, full in content, started hiccuping like a good baby. Come on, move a bit. As soon as she said that, there was movement in her belly. She was overjoyed and quickly called Parker over. The leopard gently caressed the round little belly, feeling the baby's movements with all his heart. The girl cried tears of joy. Finally, there was movement. She suddenly thought of a name for the baby. We hope we'll be safe and healthy. Let's name him an In. Parker nodded, saying the name sounded nice.